Chapter 14. 02. Farewell, Feng Jiu Ge. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Under the effect of immortal killer move enslavement after victorious fight, any life form defeated by Feng Yuan would have a high chance of being enslaved by him. The core of this move was the new rank 7 immortal Gu that Feng Yuan just got, fight. By using all sorts of wisdom paths, supplementary Gu worms, this rule path immortal Gu displayed its unique value. Enslavement after victorious fight was created by Immortal Zombie Dali. Immortal Zombie Dali was a second-generation split soul of spectral soul. He was known as the martial dual heavenly king. He cultivated strength path and wisdom path together. He had the great strength, true martial physique. After the first generation split soul, Purple Mountain True Monarch, turned into a purple gold rock, he took over as the leader of Shadow Sect. However, afterwards, a mysterious Gu immortal with a red lotus insignia on their forehead appeared. After an intense battle, he lost and was suppressed by Immortal Gu House Graceful Chaotic Dual Stage. This was the origin of the killer move enslavement after victorious fight. It was an incredible killer move that combined both the profundities of strength path and wisdom path. Feng Yuan inherited Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance. He learned about this killer move. Of course, he was not familiar with it. He was only starting to use it now. However, unlike the other moves, this one only needed Feng Yuan to activate it in advance. He could sustain it very easily during the battle. Most immortal killer moves could not be used by Feng Yuan during battle because he was not familiar with them. If he failed in using them, he would be hurting himself. But at this moment, Feng Yuan had the initiative. He plotted to harm the Heavenly Court pursuers. Thus, he had enough time to prepare, and after some failures, he successfully used enslavement after victorious fight. Next, Feng Yuan sustained enslavement after victorious fight as he multitasked, using Year Beast summoning to summon an army of Year Beasts from the tributary of the River of Time. However, even though there were many Year Beast summoning's flaw was still around. That was the Year Beasts would not risk their lives for Feng Yuan. If they were injured or if the enemies were too strong, they would retreat. This was different from Soul Beast summoning. The Soul Beast summoning that Spectral Soul created could force any Soul Beast to fight to the death for the Gu Immortal, disregarding its own life. Year Beast summoning was created by Heifan. Even though Heifan was a time path great expert, he was far inferior to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Of course, even so, the strength of Year Beast summoning could not be denied. All in all, this move was very useful. With rank 8, Immortal Gu Years. Flow like water as the core, the Gu Immortal could summon an army of Year Beasts. Against the enemy, such a huge number would result in a powerful encirclement, unless the enemy was a special rank 7 Gu Immortal, like Feng Jiu Ge, or rank 8 Gu Immortal. But in the Gu Immortal world, how many rank 8 great experts in Feng Jiu Ge's were there? Clap, clap, clap. Strength path giant hands flew around, pushing the Year Beasts which were retreating onto the ground. These Year Beasts were under the effect of Year Beast summoning, fighting against Feng Jiu Ge. But after facing the power of Feng Jiu Ge, they wanted to retreat through the tributary of the River of Time. But Feng Yuan had already blocked their path of retreat. He used the giant hands to slam these Year Beasts to the ground. These Year Beasts were all subdued with enslavement after victorious fight and became Feng Yuan's slaves. But a portion of them were still resisting. Against these stubborn ones, Feng Yuan's response was to attack with more strength past giant hands. Clap, clap, clap! With several more slaps, very few of the Year Beasts stayed adamant. After all, they were not in good shape. Most of them were injured from Feng Jiu Ge's attacks. Feng Yuan enslaved more and more Year Beasts. He opened his Immortal Aperture's entrance and kept these Year Beasts in his Immortal Aperture, as well as some Year Beast corpses. These unlucky ones were already injured and were killed by Feng Yuan's strength path giant hands when he slammed at them with too much force. Even though they died, they were still rank 6 and 7 immortal materials. Feng Yuan did not let go of any. On the battlefield, Feng Jiu Ge killed most of the Year Beasts before Feng Yuan used Year Beast summoning again to call more Year Beasts into battle. Next, he stayed concealed by the Gu formation and used Feng Jiu Ge's strength to capture these year beasts. A moment later, Fang Yuan had 70 to 80 year beasts in his immortal aperture. Most of them were desolate level year beasts, a small portion were ancient year beasts. At this rate, I will be able to accumulate several hundred year beasts. Fang Yuan was joyous. Even though he did not have the batch of year beasts sold in Treasure Yellow Heaven, he farmed for them himself. He had quite a good harvest. However, with my soul foundation, I can enslave 100-year beasts at most, Fang Yuan estimated. His soul foundation was strong, but don't forget, he already had a group of eagles under his control. Maybe I should sell these eagles? Fang Yuan was hesitant, but he suddenly felt a shiver as his body tensed up. A strong and aged aura emerged from the tributary of the river of time behind him. An immemorial year beast, it was lured here by years' flow like water. Fang Yuan understood. Fang Yuan did not place years' flow like water. Immortal Gu in the sovereign immortal aperture. Thus, the immemorial year beast was lured here by the immortal Gu, arriving through the tributary of the river of time. After sensing the aura of the immemorial year beast, the year beasts on the battlefield became frenzied. They suddenly fought more boldly. Feng Jiu Ge felt his pressure intensifying, especially when the difficulty of enslaving those year beasts with submission song increased by many times now. Rumble! A huge tiger claw emerged from the tributary of the river of time. Creating a huge wave made of river water, the tiger claw struck at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was prepared for it. He had kept the year beasts and shadow sex immortals in his immortal aperture. When the tiger claw arrived, he had already flown away. The huge tiger claw crashed down like a mountain. The formation that Fang Yuan created was destroyed by the tiger claw easily. Roar! The tiger immemorial year beast did not hit, but it sensed that the delicious years flow like water was leaving it. It roared as the sound waves produced spread out like thunder. Swish, swish, swish. The tributary of the river of time created huge waves that crashed outwards. The tiger immemorial desolate beast was unhappy. It wanted to try and get out of this tributary of the river of time. But it was too huge. Its foundation was too deep. This tributary of the river of time was too small for it. But it was not a problem. The tiger claws slashed around the place as the tiger immemorial year beast tried to expand this tributary of the river of time. The tributary of the river of time quickly became wider as its size increased. This superb time path resource point was ruined. Even though the size of it was going to increase by many times, it had lost its balance. After a while, this tributary of the river of time would entirely return to the main river. Of course, this was nothing to the immemorial year beast. It did not care. Feng Jiu Ge saw that Fang Yuan approached him. His eyes shined with brilliance as he stayed vigilant. All Fang Yuan had Feng Jiu Ge blocking him in front, and the immemorial year beast behind him. He seemed to be in great danger. But in reality, he was smiling lightly, feeling extremely confident. He did not even use reverse flow protection seal. He activated rank 8 immortal Gu years flow like water again. Fang Yuan has a rank 8 immortal Gu. Feng Jiu Ge's pupils shrunk, but he was not surprised. Fang Yuan took over Shadow Sect. It was normal to have such an inheritance. I wanted to get rid of all the heavenly court pursuers. Too bad only Feng Jiu Ge came here. Fang Yuan smiled coldly. Years flow like water. Immortal Gu stared to shine in a pure white light in his hands. The white light shone over the area, turning this dark tunnel into a bright place. Under the strong light, a Gu formation started to activate. This is? Feng Jiu Ge found that he was trapped in the Gu formation, but earlier this huge Gu formation did not activate. It was hidden perfectly, fusing with the environment flawlessly. Rank 8 years flow like water. It was the core of this Gu formation. Under its lead, the Gu formation activated. Feng Jiu Ge was on guard, but this Gu formation's power did not seem to target him. Rumble! Like a dam that had accumulated for years unleashing the floodgates, the tributary of the river of time turned into a raging river in a few breaths' time. It turned out that this Gu formation's true target was this tributary of the river of time itself. Feng Jiu Ge subconsciously held his breath. At this instant, The tributary of the river of time was overflowing. It seemed to have become the main river of time. The river water surged and created huge waves that blocked out the sky. The unstoppable waves devoured Feng Yuan instantly, before moving towards Feng Jiu Ge. Feng Jiu Ge naturally wanted to escape, even though there were many year beasts. With his nimble movement, they were of no obstruction to him. But the river of time could not be comprehended by normal standards. So fast! Feng Jiu Ge was dazzled. He found that the river of time's waves were already directly above him. The river of time was a time-past secluded domain of heaven and earth. Wherever it flowed towards, there was no concept of flow speed. Only time itself mattered. The water of the river of time only needed an instant to travel 10 million li, or it could take 1,000,000 years to travel an inch. I cannot evade it. Feng Jiu Ge instantly understood this. He used his defensive methods to protect himself. Rumble. Hearing the sound of crashing waves around him, Feng Jiu Ge's body was engulfed by the huge waves, completely submerged. But Feng Yuan managed to emerge from the water of the river of time using the Gu formation. Flood discharge formation, break, Feng Yuan called out in his mind as the Gu formation broke apart. Without the Gu formation, the tributary of the river of time was instantly attracted towards the main river of time. This was because the flood earlier had surpassed the limits of this tributary of the river of time. Such a tributary was not going to flow out of the main river. This was no longer the power of the Gu formation, it was the power of heaven and earth, the supreme power of the river of time itself. Rumble, rumble! Amidst the loud crashes, Feng Jiu Ge was swept into the main river. Even the tiger, immemorial, desolate beast that wanted to come out was obstructed by the main river. After a few breaths of time, the tributary of the river of time vanished completely. Only a large area of the ripples of time were still flickering silently. The year beasts in the battlefield had all returned to the river of time. Farewell, Feng Jiu Ge, Feng Yuan said lightly, as he stored the Gu worms used in the formation and left the place.